Hi, I'm Paul Perdue, and I am the infrastructure nerd.
And I'm Mary Jo Boyd, a legal technologist. I am going to talk about something so exciting today, and that is reconciliation.
You think reconciliation is exciting?
I do now, because in version 18, oh my goodness, they have totally overhauled reconciliation in both general ledger and in trust.
In both of them?
In both of them, it is amazing.
Can you show us how that works?
I would be very happy to. So as you can tell, I am very excited about the new reconciliation features that they have released in version 18. Not only is the reconciliation identical in GL and trust, which amen, right? Because we have been both doing two separate reconciliations all along with different formats and all of that. Now the screens are identical. So we can go in and see the same things, check the same things, use the same procedures, and it is awesome. Today, when I'm going to be talking about reconciliation, I'm going to stick to GL. I will quick at the end flip into trust just so you can see the screens are the same, but I'm going to do all the examples and everything in the general ledger. So I'm going to open the general ledger and I'm going to go to the reconciliation window, still in the same place, so you can just get in there. And the first thing that you're going to notice when you come into reconciliation settings is that this screen is completely different. So we still can pick our general ledger account that we want to reconcile using the drop down. All of my bank accounts that I have set up will be on this screen, and I can pick the one that I want to reconcile. And the statement date, that hasn't changed. And then I can plug in my beginning and my ending balance for that particular statement. Now, if I'd already done a reconciliation, right now I'm in sample data, so I don't think we've ever finalized a real reconciliation in this data. But if I had, my beginning balance would still carry over. The other thing you're going to notice down here in the middle is that we've got some places to put interest and service charge up front. So I can go in and plug in how much the interest is, tell it what account I want to put that to, bank account interest charge or whatever it is, bank account charges, and the date that that came in, the end of the month, the end of the statement, and whatever journal it is that I want to post that to if it's not the general. And then same thing with service charge. If your bank account gets charged a $5 service charge each month, you can plug that in ahead of time. It will make those journal entries right now when you're reconciling, so you don't have to go out and do another manual journal entry after the fact or as you're reconciling or before you get in here. You can do it right here, right as you're reconciling, which is awesome. Now, I'm not going to plug any number in here real quick because I want to show you another feature about reconciliation that they've got out here. And so I am not going to plug in any beginning and ending balance so that it will not understand that the calculated in beginning balance is different. It's going to think that. So watch what happens when I do that. I'm going to click OK, and all of a sudden I get this message like you would get before. You know, my statement beginning balance does not match my calculated beginning balance, and it will tell me some possible reasons why. But what is new is it'll ask you, do you want to print a reconciliation discrepancy report to show you how this calculated beginning balance is generated? Now, what does that mean, right? This means that instead of having to go back and hunt for all of those different things that, an entry that might have gotten reconciled by mistake, something that's happened, this report is going to show me all of those entries that were manually reconciled since my last reconciliation. So I don't have to go try to find them and figure that out. It's going to show me, which is huge because I don't know if you have spent hours looking for them like I have. That is just a wonderful tool. So this is, I just wanted to show you this real quick, that it will, if there is a calculated and statement beginning balance discrepancy, give you the opportunity right here when that happens to print out that report and try to find it. And that way, it's still fresh, you can get to it, and it's not carrying over forever and you're trying to remember what happened later. So I'm just going to say no right now, and I'm going to come back in and actually put in my real statement beginning balance, and I'm just going to copy that for this test, and I'm going to plug that in to my ending balance just so that we can get some data in there. Go ahead and say OK, and now I've got this wonderful window that has two different sides. So all my receipts and deposits are on the right, and all of my checks and other withdrawals are on the left. I still have all of my cleared balance, EFTs, total deposits, all of those things here. And then I have my balances and everything here. So this is all the same down here, but now I've got these two columns that I can go ahead and sort and organize by these. Now I'm going to just go ahead and click on the check, and I'm going to come in, and again, this is sample data, so some of this stuff is already checked off from probably some prior thing that we've been playing with. But in your case, these would be empty and only the voided checks would be checked off. But I can order this by check number, by date, by amount, whatever it is that I need to find those entries to go ahead and check that information off. Same thing over here on my receipts and deposits. I can just sort it by type, amount, date, whatever I want to get my reconciliation finished. And then I can go ahead and finalize, and this is going to go out and create my report just like it always did. So just a much more user-friendly format here than what we had in the past. So I think you're going to like that. That discrepancy report is huge. That is a great thing. So there's a couple of other features that I'm just going to touch on briefly, and then in our next webinar we're going to go into some more detail on some of them. So the other thing that is important to know in what has been added is that they have added the feature of undoing a reconciliation. Again, one of those huge things that we've wanted for a long time, and here it is. We can now undo a previous bank reconciliation. If you go under maintenance, here is undo reconciliation. It will ask me what account I want to do that for, and then what statement date I want to undo. Now again, this is sample data, so I don't have one, but you would have the last statement date, and you can say okay, and it will undo that statement for you. Now the other good thing about this is it's going to undo it, and it's going to throw it back into your reconciliation window with everything checked that was checked prior. So you don't have to go back through and start from scratch, which is really good too. So you can go in and you can undo this, go back in, fix what you need to fix, whether it's a date. In my case, I always am putting the wrong statement date. Whatever it is, you can go back and you can fix that. And you can undo multiples. So you can go back and undo one and go back 2 or 3 reconciliations and start over again. So it's really helpful, and that is a great tool there if you have a mistake or something happened and you need to fix it. So undo bank reconciliation. Under maintenance, undo reconciliation. The other thing to note is if you're, another feature that's coming up, and I'm going to talk about this feature in the next webinar a lot more, and this one is the importing of bank transactions. So again, now we can connect with your bank, you can download that file, and we can import those transactions directly into General Ledger. It will pair those up and match as many of them as it can, and then you can go in and you can look at that, and you can make sure everything's matched properly and match anything that isn't. And that where you find that is in the bank account manager. And so if you go into the bank account manager here, there you can pick the account and you can import bank transactions, you can confirm those, and you can reconcile the account all from that, which again, we're going to talk about that in more detail. But one thing you will want to know is if you're going to be importing bank transactions, you will need to go into your chart of accounts and put in the actual bank account number, because that's how it's going to match that up. So just know, and we'll talk about that again in the next webinar a little bit more in detail, but just so you know, that is something you're going to need to add in. Now, just real quick, I'm going to go into Trust just to show you that the same features are available now in the Trust account. So I'm going to just go out to my reconciliation, and I'm going to open the window. You can see this is the exact same window, but look at here, there's a new checkbox. Show trust account information for each trust transaction. Again, huge. Before, all we could see is the amount and maybe a description, but we didn't know which trust account it belonged to. So now there's a checkbox that you can check that, and it will show the trust account number, so that if you need to go look up that transaction, you can go find it very easily in that trust transaction. So I'm going to show it real quick. I'm going to just, I don't know what my beginning and ending balances are, so this is probably going to give me a discrepancy. But if I were to go in, this would then, well, here, I can get that number real quick. So it looks like $200. So we can plug that in, and I can show you the screens will look exactly the same there. Gotta love test data, right? All right, so okay, so here we go, and you can see now that you can see the trust ID in here. Same screens, you've got deposits on one side, your checks, EFTs, and withdrawals on the other, and you can see that who the trust account that transaction belongs to. So huge, I mean, really big changes here that is going to make reconciliation a whole new, hopefully easier and more pleasant experience for you. So there you have it, the new reconciliation features, and I hope you like them as much as I do.
And that's just one more way that we help you to worry less
And practice more.